That's awesome.
That's so sweet.
It really is. Oh, okay. That means I got to behave.
Yeah, it's a good idea, David.
Okay.
People are seeing me eating on the air. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't mind me bringing us in, do you?
Not at all.
Okay. We're off at the moment. He's about to tell me when we're coming on. Oh, we're live on Facebook. Okay.
Reflection.
Who'd you have to pay off to get them beans?
My wife and stepdaughter.
Oh,
They could see how hungry I was.
I'm famished over here. You can see my ribs if I pulled my shirt up. I had a protein drink and a protein bar for lunch. That was it.
Well, we got the camera back tonight, so be careful.
Oh, well, I better not show my ribs. then people will know I'm lying. That belly will be sticking out.
Tongue does? Yes. Okay.
Terrible. You couldn't.
No, we're talking
Couldn't
about
leave
Charles
that alone.
Barkley. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Show, your number one source for football information in Van Zandt County.
Just kidding. Great start, though, David.
Yeah, I'll never be able to duplicate that.
You did fantastic.
Thank you.
I'll pay for a Sprite.
Look,
Taylor, Joel's parched over here.
It's a cup of ice.
anything.
Sprite. Here comes Donna to the rescue.
There we go. There we go.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Hump Day Huddle. I'm David Barber with Van Zandt News.
He said, "Don't stop."
Okay.
All right, here we
All
go.
right.
Back to business,
All right,
David.
let's back up and start again.
He said, "Great Scott."
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Show. I'm David Barber with Van Zandt Newspapers, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, the counselor Joel Elliott, Kyle Owens from our sister station at KMU in Mineola is joining us tonight in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And the reason he's in front of the camera because, gentlemen, guess who is back behind the camera?
And thankfully.
A man who needs no introduction.
Thankfully.
But we're going to give it to him anyway. It's Junior, along with Engineer Ken. And we're glad to have you back, sir.
Welcome back, Ken.
Thank you.
You were missed.
I couldn't be happier.
Whatever. I be black, y'all, so whatever.
KO admirably held it down last week, got us on the air. We got it
Past
through.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So you're
That's
right.
right.
Your backup quarterback got us a couple of wins while the starter was down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I watched it, and there's a lot to be said that I won't say. So let's get on to football.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We had, I believe, 3 of our 6 teams that won last week,
Yes.
or 3 out of 5. How many? What? How did we do?
Edgewood, Canton, and Van.
So Grand
Edgewood,
Saline
Canton, and Van, and
Fruitvale.
Grand Saline and Fruitvale lost, and Wills Point had an open date.
That's
so
right.
we
They
were
did not
3
lose.
and 2 in the county last Friday night. So we move ahead and talk about this week's games along with the results last week. And gentlemen, which school do we want to start with this evening?
Well, we can always start with the Edgewood Bulldogs.
All
Let's
right.
start with Edgewood.
Let's go.
Yeah. And they had, by the way, before we start, KO, who won the Spirit Stick?
It was the Quitman Bulldogs.
Okay. They were coming on strong. I thought they probably did.
Canton tried. It was a valiant effort.
Right. I
So
knew
they gave a good shot, but Quitman won it this week. So
You weren't
4-2.
given like the score updates.
No.
So there was a little bit of lag from the Canton team. They were thinking, well, you know what? I think we got this.
Well,
this time.
that's
And
what you shouldn't let your foot off the
So
gas.
and here's the deal. So Quitman has 4.
Yeah.
And Canton's got 2. So
Yeah.
Quitman gets another one. They're at least sharing the pie, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So-
That's right. By the way, that pie Friday afternoon was fantastic.
Well-
Chocolate pie with chocolate chips. It was delicious.
Well, let's just don't wait. Let's just talk about that.
Yes. Okay,
And
I've got questions.
Well,
Okay.
and I want to tell the listeners here, Kyle Owens, just the backstory here, the team that won the Spirit Stick week before last, KO agreed to come to their pep rally and take a pie in the face.
I did.
And not only did he show up at the Canton homecoming pep rally, he came and he got the crowd fired up. I mean, he wasn't there just going through the motions now. He got the band fired up. He did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And took the pie in the face, man. It got the homecoming celebration off to a great start. So thank you, KO.
I like to think I played a part in Canton winning.
I do too.
I think you did.
Yeah, I like to think so.
KO, he's truly a friend of the East Texas football schools.
Yeah.
He truly is.
Yeah.
Thank you, KO.
Absolutely. Yes, sir,
Now
Joel.
here's the question. Okay. And I've heard the kids' version of this. You ask him not to go too hard.
I did.
But he took that as a challenge.
I guess so. I said, don't hurt me now. And Colton was like, okay. So, bow.
So I saw all the white cream, and I thought, there may be some red blood coming through that, 'cause
Look,
it went
I went
hard.
I went back and watched the video, and he was not playing. He was
Yeah.
like I was an enemy or something.
Yeah.
Now he, and then I felt bad because when I talked to Mr. Dusty, I said he was like, well, I don't want to get any pie on the brand new court, and I'm like, I understand. Like I'm completely with you. So we put some stuff down, but the velocity of Colton smacking the pie on my face, it shot some onto the court, and I felt bad about it.
Coach
So-
Burke died a little inside.
I could see Coach Burke back
Yeah.
there like melting down.
Yeah, I know, and I felt bad. So I'm sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
Coach.
It's funny.
It's Colton's fault.
Yeah, I could see as I was watching Colton prepare to put the pie in the face, I could see the wheels turning in his head as he held this pie thinking, now, how hard should I hit him? How do I do this? And
Yeah.
I was just glad you weren't injured.
No. And getting it off of me was the hardest thing because I don't know if y'all have been in Canton's bathrooms lately, but they don't have like a straight flowing faucet. You have to keep pushing it and it just kind of showers out. So it took an extra amount of time for me to get it off of me. So it was a fun time though. And I would love to do it again, but Canton's going to have to call in.
And it's gonna happen again, but only one more time this year.
Only one more time. It's for whoever wins overall. Now, next year, there may be multiple times.
Right, we can come up with something new. Who knows?
Who
But That's a
knows?
great idea. All right, so to the Edgewood Bulldogs here. So like we talked about last week, guys, this was a very important game against Blooming Grove. And the final in that game was 42-14, as you all know. The Bulldogs won, and that was homecoming night. And I should know who the homecoming queen was, and I'm drawing a blank here. The last name is McBride. And if they're listening, I'm sorry, but congratulations to whoever won the homecoming queen. You know who you are. Okay, so talked about how important this game was with Blooming Grove. They were the defending district champs, and you knew that this week and next week, which is Palmer for Edgewood, these were going to be two important games because you look at the teams that are left on these two teams' schedule. This two-game stretch is going to decide the district championship probably, and so Edgewood apparently the kids got the message because the word I got from our guys over there at Edgewood Bulldog Radio, and by the way, thank you to them. They're always giving me information. I rely on them completely for all my Edgewood stuff. They said the Bulldogs were very, very physical and came out and really just showed that they wanted it more. The first drive of the game was concerning, though. Blooming Grove came out and drove it right down and scored, so 7-0 just like that. On their second possession, they got the ball and drove down again and almost scored. They got inside the 10-yard line. And as the story goes, Coach Guerra calls timeout, makes an adjustment on the defense there, and Blooming Grove couldn't move the ball the rest of the night. I don't know what he did, but they didn't score. And so they scored on their first drive there. The halftime score was 21-7, Edgewood leading. So kind of an odd way that Blooming Grove scored their next and only other touchdown. Edgewood kicks off to Blooming Grove, and they force a fumble on the kickoff. So Edgewood gets the ball back. On their first play from scrimmage, there's a mishap between the center and the quarterback. The ball squirts up in the air. Blooming Grove defensive end grabs it and runs it in for a touchdown.
Struggling.
So, thank you for that. So a weird kind of exchange there. So that was their last score. So the final there, like we said, 42-14, and Edgewood was just dominant. Hayden Wilcoxon, he was 13 of 23, 188 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He ran 9 times for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nate Sims ran it 14 times for 69 yards. And then on the receiving end, Graham Fabry, 3 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. Edgewood had 453 yards in total offense, no turnovers, so a clean game. And so when you look at all that, it's no surprise Edgewood came in and really won a lopsided victory that was not expected.
Yeah.
As we said, Blooming Grove came in as the defending champs, and so Edgewood kind of served notice that they're serious here. So congratulations to Coach Guerra and the Bulldogs on that game. But now you look forward to Palmer.
And let me just ask you before you move
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of weeks ago, you left me covering Edgewood after they had just lost to Lone Oak. And
Yes.
and I got the text. It was from you, but it was essentially from the Bulldog Radio, Paul Cates and his crew and the rest of them, and Coach Seal. And all it said was, you may need to clean this up. So I didn't even have anything that I could have read it, and then we might not be doing this anymore. But apparently in the 2 weeks following that, they've really made a big turnaround, because I think with that Lone Oak game, apparently they thought they were having problems. It needed to get cleaned up big time. And here we are 14 days since that radio show.
Yes.
And we're talking about, hey, we've served notice. So I don't know what they've done over there, but apparently in the last couple of weeks, Edgewood's made a big change.
What a turnaround. You're exactly right. I remember what the attitude of that whole team was at that time. Like,
well, I remember what the text said. They were worried. They were worried this thing's off the rails. And here we are. So they're heading to Palmer now on Friday night with essentially what the district championship game. You're going to say it. Last year that game, Palmer got the best of Edgewood in Edgewood. It was 30-6. Palmer's coming off 50-24 win over Mildred, and Palmer has a 2-game win streak going. The reason the district championship, other than just winning the district championship, is so important is for seeing in the playoffs. You can look down the road not too far, and you can see what that other district is doing that Edgewood's going to match up with. And you see who those teams are, and you see who you really do not want to play in the first round. The way that district is shaping up, you've got, let's see here. You've got Gunner, and you've got Bells, and you've got Leonard. Those are 3 tough teams. And so the district champion out of Edgewood district is going to get a winnable game for sure.
Well,
let me give you
Go ahead.
SNS Consolidated's 2-0 in that district. So
Yeah.
they're up top with Gunner. Now, I don't know. SNS just beat Lone Oak by a point last week.
Okay.
And Lone Oak was up on SNS for a long time. Leonard's 0-1 in the district right now. So the top 4, Gunner, SNS, Bells, and Whitewright. But I get what you're saying,
That's
though.
a good question.
You don't want to be you don't want to be a 3 or 4 seed going in and having to play either SNS or Gunner. You definitely don't want to play Gunner in the first round.
No.
Absolutely not.
I had a question about SNS Consolidated and why they weren't considering them a threat, because they did not mention them. So maybe they know something that I don't.
Well, like I said, last week they beat Lone Oak, and it was 21-20, and SNS was down all game and came back. The week before that, they beat Blue Ridge by 3 points, 17-14, and Blue Ridge is at the bottom of that district. So they really haven't – I mean, Lone Oak's a pretty good football team, but they haven't played the top – they haven't played Gunner. They haven't played Bells. They haven't played Leonard.
Right.
So we don't know how good SNS really is.
Once the full attrition takes place, it'll all kind of wash out.
Right.
You can probably see those top 3 ending up at the top there.
It's all a battle for second from fourth. Gunner's got the district easily.
Right. You don't want to play them. If you look at these two teams, Edgewood's healthy as far as I know. You just kind of compare their numbers. Edgewood's scoring 30 a game, Palmer scoring 29. Edgewood giving up 26 a game, Palmer giving up 25. So just almost exactly the same. Their run-pass balance is about the same. Palmer runs it a little more than they throw it. Edgewood's the same way. So this should be a really good matchup over in Palmer Friday night. So we just wish Coach Guerra and his staff and all the boys the best of luck on that one. It's been a while since Edgewood has won district. It's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And they were projected to win this district. So this is their chance to do that, David.
All right.
Hey, real quickly, Nate Sims was the homecoming king.
Okay.
And I tried to get a first name. It just said K. McBride.
Okay.
So I know her name starts with a K.
Darn it. Well,
I went to Edgewood's Facebook page.
if anybody knows, text me.
That's right. That's right.
We'll recognize her later on.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Before we get to our commercial break, let me mention to you where we are tonight. We are at the Q and Brew restaurant at the Silver Spur Resort in Canton. We're 1 mile north of Interstate 20 on Highway 19. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 talking about Van Zandt County football. We want you to come out and join us. A reminder that every Tuesday night is $2 taco night.
Can't beat that.
And so come on out and join us. And a reminder that if you missed the live show, replay of this program can be heard at 7 p.m. Wednesday on our sister station,
99.9
FM. So
That's right.
now let's say thank you to some of our sponsors here. A big thank you to Sensible Dentistry. Life is better with a beautiful smile. 1350 South Trade State Boulevard in Canton, 903-567-2666. We're brought to you by Dean Kubota. 2 locations. Wills Point is 903-873-2451. Forney is 972-552-3151. We're brought to you by Down Home Cafe, almost world famous. Daily breakfast and lunch specials. Breakfast available anytime. Located at 400 West Highway 243 in Canton, 903-567-7601. We're brought to you by Exit Realty Pro at 1445 South Buffalo in Canton, 903-567-7777. We're brought to you by Goods, Texaco, and Tires. We sell service at Goods Service Station. Cooper Tires, state inspections, oil changes, mechanic work, computerized 4-wheel alignment. Storage buildings, 903-963-7848. Located at 172 East Main Street in Van. We're brought to you by Hall Chevrolet. Find new roads in Canton, 903-567-4106. And we're brought to you by the Tim James Insurance Agency, Home Auto Business and Farm, 548 West Highway 243 in Canton, 903-567-0627. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News sports correspondent. Pleased to be joined, as always, by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, Counselor Joel Elliott, Kyle Owens from KMU. Engineer Ken is working behind the scenes. We now move on to our next Van Zandt County football team that we want to discuss. Gentlemen, which direction should we go now?
How about some Grant Saline?
And Joel, you and Kyle can both comment.
And hang on, breaking news.
Breaking
News. Cassidy McBride, homecoming queen, Edgewood. Congratulations,
There
Cassidy.
you go.
There it
Congratulations.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, the Grand Saline Indians.
Go ahead.
I didn't. They've got a bye this week, so and I know what it's like. I've been around what it's like to be a coach on your bye week. You can mow your grass.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes.
If there's somebody over in Van listening, and I don't know
Yes.
if Drennan's listening, maybe he got to mow his grass too. But
Yes.
I didn't bother him this week, especially after the Harmony game. In all honesty,
I think a lot of y'all predicted maybe worse than that. I think we had the over/under last week at 50 on that game, maybe. I can't remember. I have to look that up. Yeah, about 50. You know, I looked at the game in the first half, and Grant Saline, held the holds together. But a little later on, the water started to flow through those holes, and it got worse. But, Harmony's a great football team, probably going to win the district without much competition. And the good thing after playing a team like that, you have a bye, and then you get to play everybody else who hopefully will be a little more evenly matched. So, Teo, you were there. I know you probably got a whole lot more insight on that with some stats and everything. So.
Well, here's the thing. Stats aside, Grand Saline played tough. Like, they played hard. On the first drive of the game, Harmony got the ball first, marched down the field pretty easily, and then Brett Kendall forced the fumble, and Grand Saline recovered. Okay, here we go.
And then Grand Saline wasn't able to do anything. Actually, they threw a pick. Melton threw a pick. It got tipped up in the air, and Seahorn came down with it. So back-to-back turnovers. Within the very next drive, Harmony's marching down again, and another forced fumble by Brett Kendall that Grand Saline recovers. So you're thinking, okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
And if they could just capitalize on some of these, it'll be all right. But Harmony's big. Harmony is huge. Their offensive line, I thought Coach Drennan was just messing with me when he said they average about 300 across the board. He wasn't. He wasn't exaggerating or anything.
It's been that way for years.
Harmony is
How do they
huge.
grow those kids so big down there?
I don't know what's in the water.
I don't either.
But they are huge. And they're young. They have like 6 sophomores starting on either side of the ball. They're just very young, but they're very big. And we know Grand Saline's not the biggest football team. And Grand Saline had a few starters out. Cooper Brown was out. Bryce Holland was out. Caleb Amaya didn't play. So they were down a few of their studs. But, Grand Saline had a chance. They just weren't able to capitalize. And and it was discipline that really hurt them too. I remember there was one drive. Preston Anderson caught a screen pass, wiggled his way inside the 10. You're like, okay. And then a sideline interference on Grand Saline. So it moved them back. Oh. Then the very next play, Jace takes a big hit on a sack. Then the very next play, a holding. Then the play after that, another big sack. So they were inside the 10 and moved all the way back to their own side of the 50 at like the 45. So that's like a 40-yard,
And a momentum killer.
Exactly. So
and let's just talk about the sideline interference. Was it one of those where somebody was just kind of out on the field, or was there actually interference?
I didn't notice it. But it was bad enough where it wasn't a warning. It was an actual flag. So, because, normally they'll give you a warning, like, hey, back up. But apparently it was bad enough where it was immediately a flag. Oh. So, that was tough. But offensively, Grand Saline had 193 yards. They did have a passing touchdown. Jace threw one to Brett Kendall, who was all over the field. Brett Kendall caught passes, ran the football. He had 11 tackles, a tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick on.
How old is he? What year?
He's a junior, I believe.
He's a junior,
yeah, he's a junior. So,
and outstanding. Preston Anderson had a really good game. Jake
struggled throwing it. He was 5 of 17 for 114 yards. Going into it, I was thinking that Grand Saline needed to move the pocket, let Jace get out and not be in with all those big bodies. Well, they were doing that, and they were throwing screens, and I think Drennan had a great game plan going into it. But as the game went on, like you said, the holes started to kind of open up a little more. Harmony caught Grand Saline sleeping right before halftime, just hit a streak route and scored. So it got away from them. There was a running clock the whole second half. It was just tough. I think it was 35-0 at halftime, and then ended up being 42-7.
But the first quarter was what? Was it 7 or was it 14?
It was 7-0.
Yeah, at the end of the first quarter, I was kind of excited about that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They played really well early on, but I think Harmony's size wore Grand Saline down. And, Grand Saline just doesn't have the horses, the numbers to run with Harmony. Yeah. So it was tough. But you were saying that Harmony's district, West Rusk is going to be a tough one for Harmony.
Yeah, you're right.
Harmony and West Rusk, I think, will be for a district championship, which, by the way, will be live on KMU in a few weeks. Anyway, but Harmony and West Rusk, I think, will be for the district championship. But Harmony's got a really good football team. Grand Saline's struggling right now. And normally we say Quitman's on the schedule. There's our victory. Yeah. Quitman's tough this year. Yeah. Quitman's salty.
They're winning more than the Spirit Stick.
They are.
They're 4-2. I've never, in all my years of being at KMU, and I've been here since 2013, I've never seen Quitman have 4 games won in a year. And they are, just won a double overtime game last week.
Yeah, and we're barely halfway through.
Right. So I'm pulling for Grand Saline, but that Quitman game's not a pushover game.
At all.
No.
At all. Not like it used to be.
They're going to have their hands, right. They're going to have their hands full. But Grand Saline's got,
They got Troop on the schedule still.
They got Troop on the schedule. It's just they got no, they lost to Winona. But they didn't lose to Winona bad. And then Harmony.
Everybody's
going
to lose to them.
Right.
Just,
I think Quitman and Grand Saline should be a really good game in a couple of weeks. I think it's good that they got this week off to kind of get everybody healthy because, like I said, they're missing 4 starters at key positions. So, but Grand Saline's going to be all right. It's not the year that the Indians want.
Right.
But I think going forward, give Coach Drennan time. He's turned the program around before. He could do it again. Just got to give him time.
Absolutely. And I hope they give him some leeway.
Yeah.
I hope they show some patience because he's a good coach. He didn't get to the state championship 2 times for nothing.
Right.
He knows what he's doing.
Right.
So it was tough, but they'll be all right.
Yeah, they will.
All right. Well, let's move along. We've got another group of sponsors we want to recognize. A reminder that we are here at the Q and Brew Restaurant, at the Silver Spur Restaurant, at the Silver Spur Resort.
There it
Excuse
is.
me. We are 1 mile north of I-20 on Highway 19 in Canton. We're here from 6 to 7 every Tuesday night talking Van Zandt County football. And we also want to remind you that if you missed the live broadcast, a replay of this program can be heard on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on our sister station, KMU 99.9 FM. Let's take a moment and recognize some more of our sponsors. We do thank our sponsors very much. We're brought to you tonight by Legacy Dental Group, Family Dentistry, Cosmetic Dentistry, Oral Surgery, Orthodontics, Sedation Dentistry. 240 East Highway 243 in Canton, 903-508-2923. We're brought to you by M Squared Management, Property Management Company, 1435 South Buffalo Street in Canton, 903-502-0202. We're brought to you by Mooseburg Insurance Agency, located at 14340 State Highway 64 in Ben Wheeler, 903-833-5104. Auto, Home, Life, Farm and Ranch Commercial. We're brought to you by Ramsey's Roadhouse, Wills Point's friendly neighborhood diner, located at 505 North 4th Street in Wills Point, 903-560-8214. We're brought to you by Ricky G's Auto Repair. Check with us for all your auto repair needs, 903-963-1540, located at 215 Quail Street in Van. And we're brought to you by Robertson Electric, commercial and residential air conditioning and heating service. Free estimates, 2 locations, Wills Point, 903-873-2461, Terrell, 972-563-5254. And we are continuing here on the Huddle Show. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News sports correspondent, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, the counselor Joel Elliott. Kyle Owens from our sister station, KMU, is with us tonight. Behind the scenes, back in action tonight is Engineer Ken. All right, we move on to our next Van Zandt County football team. At this time, do we want to discuss the Canton Eagles?
I think we should.
And at some point, if you would like to work in a little analysis of the homecoming court.
Oh,
from
yeah.
last
Of
Friday
course.
night,
Yeah.
Of course.
You know that is always welcome.
Of course, and I will do that. And as you know, it was homecoming, and it's always good when you get a 20-point homecoming victory. And as we said, kicked off by Kyle Owens' performance at the pep rally, no doubt. Especially against a 3-2 team like Hillsborough, who coming in, you kind of felt like this is a better football team than they were last year. The Eagles' offense moved the ball a lot in the first half. They moved the ball a lot. They got in. I don't know if they got inside the red zone 3 times, but they got in scoring position or around that several times and didn't come away with points. The score at the end of the first half was 7-0, and I can tell you, Joel can tell you, it was as lopsided a game, David, as you can imagine. You could say Canton outgained them double in every category, and they just absolutely were dominant, but couldn't punch it in. And so the offense had its struggles in the first half, but the defense did a great job. Held Hillsborough scoreless during the first half, and didn't give up much at all. So although it was a blowout, Joel, it was 14-7 at one point in the third quarter.
Yes.
And you're thinking, man, Canton's letting this team hang around that they have just been totally dominating, and then the dam broke.
It did.
The dam broke in the third quarter, and Canton scored 21 points. And and then they put one in just for good measure in the fourth quarter to push it on up to 34 to 14.
It's closed.
And yes, and we closed it down. One thing that Coach Hubble said was that this Canton team, they're a fun team to watch. They've turned into a big play team. And when you just stop and think about that and think back through the scores that you've seen them have, that's what it's been. Thanks to the great Tanya Durham, I went back and looked at our scoring drives, just looked at the time on those scoring drives. On our first drive in the first half, that was a 21-second drive, and that was a score from the 30-yard line, a run by Cam Shaw. Our second scoring drive in the third quarter, that was 3 minutes and 25 seconds, and was a 27-yard pass caught by Cam Shaw. The next scoring drive was a minute and 48 seconds. That was a run by Juan Robles, 9-1-1. And then your next scoring drive was 5 seconds. That was a TD pass to Tootie Prox. And then the final drive, that one was sustained. That ate
more
some
conventional.
time. Yeah, a little more conventional. 5 minutes and 57 seconds. So that topped it off, 34 to 14. Eagles are by and large healthy. You might say as healthy as they've been all year long. And so as they head into this first district game, it's kind of ironic because, and I'll get into it a little bit more, this game last year against Bullard was kind of a turning point in terms of injuries. We lost a couple of key guys that we really never got back. I'll go ahead and go over some stats here from the Hillsborough game. And before I forget, congratulations to Miss Katie Wilkerson.
Yes.
She was the homecoming queen and very, very deserving.
She's my cousin.
Okay. All right. Those are good folks.
Good folks.
Those are good folks. And her dad, Josh, she's even overcome him. I mean, I don't know how, but no, I love Josh. Sean, our sideline reporter for the Buzz Brothers, he was absent. Exactly what I thought, Ken. And it was an excused absence. Can't disclose why, but I took on the sideline duties during homecoming.
Oh.
So I did go down and I weighed in just a little bit. I'm not a real fashion guy. I'm not an expert by any means at all. But I felt I was able to kind of describe what I saw well enough to the fans, and didn't see a whole lot wrong. There weren't a whole lot of fashion faux pas. I think the dads are probably on to the fact that the Buzz Brothers are judging them, and they're stepping their game up a little bit.
I didn't see a cowboy hat this year.
I don't think I did either.
Josh wasn't wearing a cowboy hat, and
Right.
I think that would have been the.
I'd have lost money on that.
Yeah, I would have lost money on that.
Yeah.
And there were. It was like anticipation as to which one of those girls was going to get it. And then Josh, a few years ago, John David's daughter got it. And he was pumped, fist pumping, and Josh was just stone-faced. He's like,
he expected it.
As Josh always is. It was kind of coming down to Roten and Wilkerson. It was just a toss-up. So,
well,
anyway.
And that started at the pep rally. I think you were cleaning. I mean, was it before you got the pie?
When they did their entrances?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those were cool. The handshakes they did with the
handshakes,
the
dance and everything.
Yeah.
And the next thing I thought they were going to do is bring out a jam box and a cardboard floor. But
that has turned into a thing where they walk into the pep rally and they've got it's a thing you walk through, but each couple, it's the homecoming nominee and whoever her escort is, and they come up with some kind of choreographed dance move that ends in a pose, and you get the picture. And there's more and more pressure, I think, building around that. You got to be good at that.
Yeah, and they're not like little 3 seconds.
No.
And
they get longer and longer.
It's a performance. Yeah,
they were. At least 15, 20 seconds each, doing handshakes and stuff.
Yeah, they kept getting longer. Okay, so some stats from the Hillsborough game. Juan Robles, he carried it 4 times, 42 yards, and one touchdown. He was very efficient. Cam Shaw, he carried it 28 times for 227 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, we've been concerned about his health, about his durability. But this is looking –
he's all right.
I do too. This is looking better and better. I'm feeling better about him.
It makes me feel good.
Yes.
Because that has been a concern Because Juan wasn't supposed to be our stud running back. Now,
No.
he's performed well, but to see Shaw come back and put up those kinds of numbers makes me – I'm not going to say I've got an easy feeling, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I do feel like I'm pointing at you for the Eagles.
Yeah. A teasy feeling.
But it does make me feel more comfortable. One, that we have Robles there if we have to have him, and to actually have Shaw back running like I was expecting to see.
He's making a difference.
Yeah. So.
And we thought, what's going to be the drop off here after Chris Cade leaves? Is anyone going to fill his shoes with that kind of explosiveness? And Shaw's starting to do it at the right time of the year too. Let's see. Chancellor Prox, he had 5 passes, 82 yards and a touchdown. Brisboe was 11 of 24, 152 yards and 1 touchdown. And so the Eagles brought it home on homecoming night, and now it's on to Bullard. And the first district game, obviously, last year this is kind of a turning point for the Eagles. If you look at Bullards, there's no other way to say it, guys. They're 0-6. They're floundering. They've had losses they've had double-digit losses in every single game. They're allowing 41 points a game. They're only scoring 19. Their margin of loss is 22 points. It feels like, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here, the Canton Eagles are going to get a win if they take care of business on Friday night.
But this also could be a trap game. First district game, Bullard has nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
It's a brand new season with district starting. Now, I think Canton should take care of business. You're right. Absolutely. But I don't want Canton to overlook Bullard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Coach Hubble's preaching that.
Yeah, right.
And I will say this about Bullard. They were hit very hard by graduation.
Yes.
After
yes,
last
absolutely.
Season. But I personally am very surprised that they have struggled like this.
To this degree.
To this degree.
So, and we're a senior-heavy team this year. I mean, there's just face it. I mean, we're a senior-heavy team. All of those seniors remember losing a 21-point lead last year. So
they want
hopefully, they look at it and go, you know what, it's time to put up some points and get a little payback here. So
I think you're right.
I'm hoping for that.
You mentioned a trap game. I remember Coach Bill Parcells. He used to hang rat traps in the locker room after a big win, just to remind them.
Yeah.
This is don't get caught taking the cheese.
But these are the games that matter now coming up for Canton,
Yeah.
Van, Bullard, that whole district. And I think it's safe to say that Van and Canton are the class of that district.
Yeah.
And that it'll come down to that game on who wins the district.
No doubt. They're on a collision course.
And, I mean, Bullard seems like they may be the odd team out, but you never know. Bullard could come in here, maybe lose to Canton and Van and win the rest of them and be the three seed going into the playoffs.
Someone's going to be the 3 seed.
Yeah.
And it is in the bottom 3. You've got Brownsboro with 2 wins.
Yeah.
Mejia has 1 and Bullard has none.
Right.
So if you're Canton and Van, you kind of, it's hard to not look at each other.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
But we've got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Van's off this week. Canton's off next week. And then it's 3 weeks. It's what? We were texting the
29th
other day.
is
I
the
texted
October 29th.
Yeah, so I mean we're less than 4 weeks away,
Yeah.
but there's 3 weeks between that, and it's going to be hard for the kids not to, and Van and Canton with a rivalry, they're still thinking about that game, and that's where you're going to get, like you said with the trap, get caught looking too far ahead and then slip up on a Bullard or a Brownsboro or.
Canton's challenge is this. They have got some things they got to clean up, and they know it. And after the game on Friday night, I'm sure Coach Hubble and the staff were licking their chops as far as practice on Monday. So there are a lot of areas of improvement for the Canton Eagles, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That they've still got room to get better. But you look at the next couple of games that they've got coming up, those will not be tough games. You've got to stay focused on improving, and you can't just get comfortable. They're going to have to remember that if they want to win the district championship and beat the Vandals, they got work to do, and they can't get complacent. So good luck to Coach Hubble and the staff and the boys. And that broadcast will the kickoff is 7:30. Buzz Brothers go on air 7:10 or so. Okay. And so tune in if you can't make it to Norris Birdwell Stadium.
All right. Reminder that the other district opener is Mejia traveling to Brownsboro. So interesting matchup there.
Toss up.
Read the app for some good chatter.
That is a toss-up.
And that Mahia Brownsboro one?
Yeah,
That is a toss-up.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on to another set of sponsors that we need to recognize. And when we come back after this break, time to talk about the Vandals.
Okay.
So, but let me first recognize Mill Creek Dental, making East Texas smile, Dr. Ann A. Duddle. 903-567-2207, located at 104 Burnett Trail in Canton. Wills Point Ford, what matters to you matters to us. 618 Houston Street in Wills Point, 903-873-2511. And the Rick John State Farm Insurance Agency at 100 North 4th Street in Wills Point, 903-873-2858. Auto, Home, Life, and Health. We're brought to you by Thompson Equipment, located at 30387 State Highway 64 in Wills Point, 903-865-1616. We're brought to you by Taylor Automotive at 27928 Highway 64 in Canton, 903-567-3948. We're brought to you by Higginbotham Brothers at 221 Texas Highway 243 in Canton, 903-567-4077. And we're brought to you by City National Bank with 3 locations in Van Zandt County. Wills Point, 903-873-4157. Grant Saline, 903-962-7588. Canton, 903-567-9100. I'm David Barber, Van Zandt News sports correspondent, joined by T.A. Hale from the Buzz Brothers, the counselor, Joel Elliott, KMU's own Kyle Owens is with us tonight. Engineer Ken is with us as well. And we'll remind you again, we are at the Q & Brew restaurant at the Silver Spur Resort in Canton. Highway 19, 1 mile north of Interstate 20. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7. Every Tuesday night is $2 taco night. And a reminder that if you miss the live show, we will repeat this program on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on our sister station, KMU FM 99.9. All right, gentlemen, we move on to our next team, and it's time to talk about the Vandals. They had an extremely long road trip last Friday night to Texarkana. Thankfully, it did not rain during the game. I was told when I got to the stadium that they had had heavy rain during the day, so the field was wet, but not a real factor in the game in my opinion. But thankfully, no more rain during the game, so
absolutely,
yeah, glad about that.
Absolutely.
But what a strange beginning to this game the other night against Liberty Ilo, the Leopards. They were an inspired football team. We talked last week about the fact that last season that Van not only beat Liberty Ilo twice, including once in the playoffs, they dominated both games. And I think those kids from Liberty Ilo remembered that. They, as I said, they came out very inspired, and they got off to a hot start. They jumped on Van early. It was 13-0 Liberty Ilo at the end of the first quarter. And one of the reasons it was that way was some adventurous, shall we say, some adventurous center snaps by the Vandals early in the football game. You know, earlier in the season, we brought the misadventures to the extra points. Kind of got that straightened out. Well, the other night we had misadventures on the center snaps. As a matter of fact, somebody in the press box made the comment at one point, does your quarterback normally double as a shortstop? And it was that kind of night early. Regular center for the Vandals, Omar Hernandez, was out sick. New man comes in, first varsity start, and it showed. And poor man struggled early in the game. Later on, about second quarter, they had to make a change and go to Will Braswell, their starting left tackle, and move him over to center. Things calmed down after that. So
okay, they found the right combination.
Found the right combination. Now,
sometimes I choke too, Joel. I get nervous under pressure.
So anyway, so far as the stats were concerned, by the way, the final score was Van 27, Liberty Ilo 25. This game came down to the final possession for Liberty Ilo. They were backed up inside their own 10-yard line, and threw the ball in a desperation attempt down the center of the field. And Reed Parrish, junior defensive back for the Vandals, his first season on the varsity, made a spectacular diving interception at the Vandal 40-yard line, which preserved the victory. And the Vandals were able to run out the clock.
That's Robbie and Amy's son. I know
That's
them.
right. Fine family there. Let me mention some stats to you. The Vandals finished with 25 first downs. Now, they ran 73 offensive plays against Liberty ILO, and out of the 73, 55 were running plays. 55 running plays for 255 yards rushing the other night.
They must have been getting to the line of scrimmage fast.
And
that's a lot of plays for most of them to be run plays.
Yeah.
We have been talking about since the beginning of the season that one area that it looked like Van might be struggling in would be the running game. Oh, I can tell you, the last 3 to 4 weeks, that has suddenly become a strength for the Vandals. Not only with Jackson Rainey running the football, but Alex Zapper, Garrett Flory. I mean, these guys are really making strong contributions in the running game. Let me mention about Jackson Rainey. He struggled early in the game, came back down to earth a little bit. He threw 2 interceptions in this game in the first half. Van also had a fumble. So in spite of having 3 turnovers offensively in the first half, the Vandals were only behind 13-7 at halftime.
Plus all those trick snaps they were getting in the beginning.
Yeah, they got all that straightened out. Didn't make a turnover in the second half. But Jackson Rainey finished with 12 completions out of 18 attempts, so that's 2/3 completions.
He got better after a rough start, didn't he?
That's right. He didn't have to worry about fielding those snaps, especially those right angle snaps.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, they're a little tough. But anyway, he had 172 yards passing, had 2 touchdowns. I mentioned the 2 interceptions earlier. But Jackson also had 25 carries running the football,
goodness.
103 yards and a touchdown.
It worries me having a quarterback run that much. It just worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
Designed runs, a lot of most of
some,
those.
but some were scrambles.
Yeah.
And we've said all along that one of Jackson's strengths is able to turn a bad play into a good play.
Right.
And that showed again Friday night against Liberty ILO. Alex Zapper, the running back, 22 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown. You know, if you talk about surprises on the Vandal football team this year, I'd say he would be at the top of the list. I'm not sure anybody expected to get the production out of him that they have gotten this season. He continues to impress. Luka Kochev led the Vandal receivers with 4 receptions for 60 yards. The defense played better Friday night than they did against Center, but there's still some issues on pass defense. They gave up a couple of big pass plays, one for 72 yards and another one for 57. So that still has to be addressed. But I will mention the performance defensively by linebacker Bo Barton, 12 tackles, 5 tackles for losses, 1 fumble cause, 1 batted pass, and 2 quarterback pressures. He was all over the field defensively for the Vandals the other night. So great to get that win. It wasn't pretty at times, especially at the start of the game. But in the end, the Vandals are 6-0 for the season.
And that's how you got to get them. You got to win them ugly, pretty, all different hands in Canton on